toy friends, welcome back. I'm Will. This is the 1A team. And we have a very special guest for you today. But before we do that, I just want to address something that's been brought to my attention this weekend here. And I'm going to bring that right up now. And that is I've talked about these people on the show many times. This is Funky McClunky. He is a 3D artist and designer. We actually featured a lot of his designs. You could buy, models from him off of Colts 3D. And on his Etsy page here, he sells whole action figures. Well, the thing is, today, this has been going on since Friday. So if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw it. But Funky McClunky is doing a promotion this weekend to help someone who is having a medical emergency. I think they are suffering from cancer, and he's trying to help them out. And that person is Vivid Motion Customs. I've also featured a lot of his designs and his stuff on my Instagram page and on the show. But he does 3D models, and he sells the STLs on Colts 3D. So, guys, I put links to both of their shops in the description of this video. So if you want to support Vivid Motion directly, you could go buy one of his models. I mean, he's got stuff that's only $1 or $2, all the way, up until more. And then Funky McClunky, who's been making some really neat stuff. He is donating all of the sales from his Etsy shop. So if you don't have a 3D printer, this is a great opportunity to get a cool action figure and to support a great cause. So all the sales from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are going to help Vivid Motion in his battle. So with that, I just want to say thank you guys. If you're ever on the fence about getting these, I mean, he's got some really cool stuff. I picked up, I wish I actually had it to show you, but he did UHF figures. So I got a Weird Al figure. He did Always Sunny in Philadelphia figures. So I got a Danny DeVito figure, and also something else. I forget what it was, but I just figured those are figures I can never find anywhere else. So I would get them and help support this cause. But wishing Vivid Motion well, and like I said, if you guys could help out, we'd really appreciate it. With that, I do want to say thank you. And without further ado, let's bring out our guests. First, Bob, my co-host and good time pal. So how you doing, Bob? And
doing
then we'll introduce Darren. Darren, welcome to the show. How's it going, buddy? And
good morning.
Yeah, good morning from the future. So it's Monday morning.
Yeah,
Darren,
that's right.
so
From live
so
from the
much.
future. Yeah. I love that.
So let's do a quick check-in with the chat. Say hi to everyone that's here. So we've got Ian. How's it going?
Ian, what's up?
Joe Hunter, what's happening?
Hey.
That's Ian again. And Marvin, how are you?
Good.
How's it going? And we got Stanley's Toy Room. What's happening, brother? Scotty's in the house. All right. And Same Time Toys. Shane, what's happening? Yeah. And Nolan. How are you, Nolan? Snow Leopard's here. We've also got someone else. Someone else is here. Maybe not. I don't know. If you're not here. Oh, Reconnect. How's it going? Yeah. What's up, Rich? Right. And I think that's everyone. So we'll get into it. Oh, and a happy birthday to Reconnect. I did not know it was your birthday. How cool. All right. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well,
give us a slice of cake. We'll be over later.
Yeah. So you guys might have seen them a few months ago. I was shopping around on what was it? Not Temu. One of those things. I think AliExpress, and I picked these up, and we were having a lot of fun talking about these what are these guys? These knockoff Joes. They look like Joes, but they're not. And I think I mislabeled them as Remco action figures is what I called them in my initial Instagram post. Anyway, the wonderful thing about the internet is not only was I corrected, but through those corrections and kind of that discovery, like, why was AliExpress selling these things new today when they're like, from 30 years ago. Well, long story short, I get in contact with Darren, and he has all the answers when it comes to this. He's going to help walk us through this today and kind of understand, I guess, where they originated and then how these molds kind of spread across the entire world, and were kind of reimagined multiple times, and as a result, recarded, repackaged, and put out there many times. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing these.
Yeah. So I think Darren, you were saying, and Darren has a wonderful collection. We should just embiggen you real quick and just show everyone that all collection right behind it. So
most of these are the guys we're about to talk about, with the exception for the keen eye. Down the bottom here, there's a few gaps, but they're safe spaces at the moment. Those guys are on borrowed time.
Yeah,
but it's these figures are a fascinating thing, because when they first came out, Galoob kind of launched the General Patch line. And for anyone, most people will be across the A-Team line, and we'll talk about those in a second. But in 82, General Patch came out, and they had the boat, they had the F-16 jet, which we all know from the A-Team toys, right? That's because they mapped them across. So the armored car, the boat, the jet, they all took those things over from General Patch. And so quite often when people talk about these accessories, they'll see them come up and they'll go, "Oh, that's A-Team," and it's like, yeah and no. But in terms of what's the knockoff, this is where it becomes really interesting. General Patch isn't a knockoff toy line. Yes, they were released in competition to Straight Arm Joe's at the time, of course, and there's a lot of similarities there. But in terms of a legitimate toy company with a legitimate toy and a legitimate toy line, yes, they're perfectly cool under themselves. And then they weren't selling as well as they'd hoped, and then they picked up the A-Team contract. So they pretty much just took their heads off, put new heads on these bodies, and we're all still wondering why Murdoch was bright orange, but they literally just mapped them across. And so even though this guy here we've got in the picture, he looks a bit like Face, but isn't.
A little bit.
And what's funny about the General Patch toy line is there was only 5 different bodies. And so I refer to these guys as the 6-pack, but we didn't get the muscly guy until the A-Team when they made it for BA. So there is no muscly dude in General Patch.
Yeah.
And so what they did, it's very funny, on the back of the pack, which I should have sent you a photo of the back too, because it's funny, is that there's, it would lead you to believe that there's about 15 figures to collect. But what they actually did was give General Patch himself only had one figure, and he was General Patch. That's fine. And he looks a bit like Nick Fury, back in the old days. But then this guy here in question, he had 2 names, and the other guy had 2 names. So there's only 5 different good guy characters. But wait, we'll put a parachute with him and give him another name. So this guy here has 3 different names.
Yeah. And to be fair, G.I. Joe in their first year, they reused Grunt's head. And Flash and and Hawk were the same head.
Yeah,
so
but these guys, all these guys did was change that little yellow sticker you can see there. That's where the name's written. So the sticker was stuck on later. And what is cool in that? And I've never wanted to open it up because this particular one I've got is unpunched, so I'm not going to open that up and have a look. But the comic book that it came with. And I love to see on the top left-hand side, it says like action smells or
Yeah,
something.
the smell of battle. Yeah. So
Smell
what
of
they do?
battle, right?
Gunpowder or something? What is it?
I don't look. You know what? I don't know because I've never seen one of these comics out of the packet, and I've been very tempted to open it. But you and I both know it will be incredibly disappointing. So in my mind, I'll just pretend it's incredible, right?
Smell the
But
battle.
so General Patch was the start. If you actually anyone who's got the A-Team battle pack at home, on the back of that packet, it actually shows all of the A-Team guys, but with General Patch bodies. So they actually appear in the green fatigues on the back of the packet.
Which probably would have played better, but I don't know why they decided, if they just, because they were all Army, so they could have just been in their uniforms, It was pretty.
Oh, well, a lot of people, and I am one of those people. But that you could who have swapped out A-Team heads so they can have a complete run. I've got those there behind me. Forgive me for cannibalization.
Yeah,
but what's interesting about those two is that there's a figure on the back of the I think it's on the back of the General Patch motorboat. There's a figure which is the head of one of the two guys that's not General Patch on the body of the other guy, and it's a new character that was never available.
Well, even
Galoob. So there's actually,
Didn't they use for the bad guys? They were like 5 POA figures. They weren't even the same figure line. Like they imported those bad guy figures from.
Well, see the General Patch bad guys. There's two of them, and this is where you got the first 4 bodies. The first 5 bodies. So there's 3 bodies in the good guys, 2 bodies in the bad dudes. And they had their own evil enemy thing going on, but there's 2 of them and they would have you believe there was 5. They did the same thing with the bad guys. And so that's where the first 5 of these bodies came around. And then when A-Team came out, we got our 6th body, and they didn't deviate from those 5 body molds ever again.
No.
So here's the evil enemy I was talking about. And it's really funny how these toy lines across the world, once they started knocking them off, they sort of kept homage to this evil enemy idea.
Yeah.
Except it became the demon enemy was the thing, right? Demon enemy was it. But to these guys, there was only 2 of these. There was this redhead fellow and a guy with a black hair and a beard, and that's it. And then after that, this is the next run. So most people would be familiar with National Defense. Go stay on National Defense. That's fine. Yeah, we're there. And there is. You say, how do I collect National Defense? Well, you kind of don't because there's so many of them. But there is a standard run of figures that I would say is the core lot. If you would have them all. The only reason I bought this particular one is because he's not one of the ones that's standard in it, but I've seen him enough times. It's like they just chucked a head on a body and packaged it. So this isn't Galoob. These ran off, and so many China got hold of the mold, and
this one says every day $1 at Dollar General. So this one,
this is the start of the tidal wave that just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So most of them came out, and go to the next shot for me, because then after National Defense, we had obviously in a different country, Infantes de Marina, same artwork, same toy line, same action figures. There was a demon, but see how it's different art. So that's Action Rangers. You've jumped ahead one there. See, go back to you.
It's almost like they did a really bad job of the artwork.
Yeah, correct. So it's like we'll do new art, even though we're going to shamelessly copy it. It's exactly the same otherwise. It's weird, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay. But Action Rangers is interesting because it came out in France as Action Rangers, but also in Australia. And that's where it become even. That was the next layer of weirdness. Is these guys really didn't have names? They had job functions, but they didn't have names like G.I. Joe, right? So go to the next one. I think we've got a picture of the back. Have we there somewhere of the back of this?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the back of Okay, has that got the job functions on it, hasn't it? That one I can't
Yeah,
quite read it.
you know what? Here I blew it up a little bit on the next slide, but it's
Yeah,
the
okay,
good guys on one and then the bad
yeah,
guys on the next. So
yeah. So this is effectively how many figures there were, and I've mapped all the figures, the core figures, to these dudes here. And the guy that I showed you a second ago on my isn't one of those guys. But conventionally across all these toy lines, in this particular colors of the figures, these guys appeared in a bunch of different toy lines, like a whole bunch. And so there's the same 6 bad guys. You know, what is there? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, same 10 good guys. But then when we got on and the next one along, they actually got names. And I think we got a Commando Ranger.
Just so you can see on the demon enemy fighters, you just had weapons officer, flight officer, assault team officer.
Well, that's interesting. See how it says there the demon enemy. This is before Commando Ranger came out. So Commando Ranger did one better. They said, "Oh well, we'll split them into sort of 2 toy lines."
Sorry, I didn't realize this until right now, but it's not demon enemy; it's Denom enemy.
Oh, is it?
It's DENOM, Denom enemy fighters. Oh, I didn't see that until right now.
I hadn't seen that either. That's funny. Yeah. So what's funny though, on Action Rangers in the France, they didn't even get job functions. That was like, here you go, collect them all, and you can work out who they are.
You got to hold the figure up. You're holding the card up.
Yeah,
which
you
one
don't even know.
I don't know.
We call that prune face syndrome, where you don't even know if he's a goodie or a baddie till you become an adult. But the I mean, how many kids had prune face and thought he was just one of Jabba's guys?
Yeah,
you know. But this is the most interesting of this lot. Is the Action Rangers came out. Krona was an Australian toy company from Melbourne, and they released Action Rangers exactly the same as the French one, except on the back of this one, they gave them names. And it's really interesting because they gave them like Chuck and Bazza and really ochre Australian terminology, which was the most interesting.
Long shot. Yeah, you got a bunch of great names.
And the most interesting is the phrase digger, which I was showing there on the right-hand side for infantry. Now, for those that don't know, just like you have jarheads and grunts and things in the US, in Australia, digger is synonymously reserved for Australian soldiers, and particularly soldiers who fought in World War I and II. And so there's laws here that prohibit anybody from releasing an action figure using the word digger. And so the fact that Krona's done it this is the only carded example of this I've ever seen, by the way. So the only one I've got is the only one I've seen. And so they've sort of slipped it past the keeper by going, oh, no, but he's actually the infantry. You can see that diggers are like a nickname. They're kind of stepping around it, but they've sort of broken the law. But because I did some background, because it was an Australian company, they were like, and it wasn't in a bad light. They kind of let him go with it.
Yeah.
Even they got a bit of a nasty gram because I reached out to a guy I know who used to work at Krona Toys just to check this since we last spoke, and he's gone, yeah, we got a nasty gram at the time, but we were okay.
We were okay.
So,
and to bring up Shane's comment here, because I know on a previous conversation we kind of came to the same conclusion. All these guys became casualties of war in my toy box. I actually feel bad now looking back. These were the cannon fodder. Yeah.
Oh, they were never the hero. There was a guy who was going to get his neck broken. That's that guy.
Yeah. But Krona also didn't want to give these guys names, right? The bad guys.
No, they only got names when they got to Commando Ranger and Demon Ranger, which were coming up, is that but they did have some consistency here in the job functionality of the enemy fighters. But even then, it says action enemy fighters. You know, so it was I'm really happy to have that one in the collection because it was hard to find. Well, I say hard to find. I stumbled across it like finding gold. I went, oh my god, great! And I've never seen another one. So but it's it's so incredibly fragile. I've kind of got armed guards standing around it.
They
You know,
really
it's
all are, kind of, yeah.
yeah. And Commando Ranger is Commando Ranger. People think Commando Ranger and Demon Ranger are two different toy lines, but it's actually just the goodies and the baddies of the same line. So they came out in they didn't come out in single packs. They only came out in dual packs with this particular branding. But there is a more modern Commando Ranger font and stuff, which I stumbled across, and they did come out in singles later.
Yeah.
But in this, on the back of this one, you'll see they actually gave them names, and there was a couple of figures that appeared in this line that were new, even though the rest were in the same library as the National Defense guys.
And I think I zoomed in on these guys too, so we could see them a little better. But yeah, you got Gunner Bill, Trooper Tom, Colonel Jim, Captain John, Sergeant Mike. Yeah, not very creative, or
yeah, no, that's right.
But
so what's his name? I don't know, Bob.
Yeah, there's Bazooka Bob there.
Derek,
Yeah, and so when often you'll see people when they put them up for sale, you'll see these names because they've got a figure and they don't know what it is, so they'll put up Commando Charlie or Captain John, and you go, oh, Gunner Bill, and you sort of, but see, it is again, it's the same, but mostly Mad Dog. Mad Dog is probably one of the most interesting ones in the sense that he came out. I'll see if I can put it on it for you. Hang on. I've got them here. Tell me if I've lined this up correctly. They're there?
Oh, yeah. We could see them. Yeah, let's get it a
so
little
there's
closer.
like four different versions of him. And in fact, there's a fifth one, which I don't have. But his head sculpt, bizarrely, while they kept all of everyone else the same, they changed his body in different timelines. So it's odd and weird and fine, but inexplicable at the same time. But so you go, why this guy? Why did he get so many changes of clothes? But the rest of them, they sort of didn't do that with.
Yeah.
So
and to
I don't
answer
know.
Shane's question, did any of these guys ever get swivel arms, or were they always straight arms? No, they kept it.
Oh no, we stayed in the ghetto the whole time.
Yeah, they did not try to update or do anything. They actually, and I think that is even a good point, is like this guy, and we might get to him later, but I just want to show it right now. This is one of the ones that I got from AliExpress, right?
Oh yeah,
and when I posted him on Instagram, a lot of people went, "Oh my God, that looks just like Isaac from the Love Boat." Well, I was talking to Darren. It is Isaac from the Love Boat.
Yeah, they took the head. Two.
Yeah,
they stole two head sculpts from the Love Boat.
There was Isaac. They could just take one and use it.
Yeah, Isaac and the Doctor they stole for the Commando toy line, but Isaac's head. I spoke to Ted Lang, the actor who played Isaac in the Love Boat. I reached out to him and said, "Are you aware that this occurred?" And he said, "That's insane." He goes, because there's like over 20 different toys that have knocked the head off his action figure. Because obviously, he would have an action figure of himself. Of course you would, right? And he did, of course. And he said, "Oh, my kids have got it somewhere." He said, "But it's here. It's in a box." Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I said, but he said, "I had no idea that this had." He goes, "That's fascinating," because I sent him a picture of all of them. Like I sent him
all the variations.
Yeah, and all the layouts. I said, "Are you aware of this?" And he said, "Absolutely not." He goes, "That's bizarre." And I said, "And the Doctors as well, they did it." And he goes, "But no one else." I said, No, that's the bit I can't quite get. Is if you're going to steal them, just steal them all.
Yeah.
But no, just those two, which is weird. And so, but the one you had there was from the Commando series, which we'll touch on in a moment. But but now these guys all had names, and all of a sudden, anyone who had them thought they could start naming their characters, even if they couldn't hold weapons or weren't any fun. This one's the most bizarre in the sense that it's Force Internationale Speciale. It's French. And you can tell the difference between these guys. What makes them unique is the neck sculpt. And I'll actually just rip one off the wall here. Hang on.
Yeah.
This guy in the neck, you can't quite see it, but it's not as rounded. I'll put it against the white wall here, so maybe you're a better chance. Oh, hang on. The necks are actually sharp around the edges. They're not rolled around the neck of the collar.
Okay.
They're actually quite square around the collar itself.
Uh-huh.
And that's how you pick the difference. And the quality of the plastic is quite shiny and it's quite good actually.
Yeah, I was going to say that looks like a hard head, whereas the ones that I have like a rubbery or gummy kind of head.
Yeah, correct. And they're also a bit pasty. They're all a bit washed out. So I don't know why they didn't get enough. I don't know why they didn't get enough sun, but they're all the same in the plastic quality is really quite high. So I'm not quite sure where they were made.
Yeah, 'cause some of them, just so you know, there's varying, but you hold them up to light, you could see through them. They're very thin.
Oh,
even
yeah,
the limbs
absolutely.
are hollow on some of them. Whereas, on others, you feel them and they're pretty solid, So you've noticed that, right, with the different companies? Like,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I can pick them now. If you gave me a figure, I could nearly tell you who made it because because I'm so used to going, oh yeah, the color of the collar, the color of this, the color of that, and so it's actually pretty it's pretty obvious once you know what you're looking for because there'll be a tell whether it's the eyes are painted or the like those guys. These guys, I don't know why, but they all look like they could use some sun.
This is probably one of the funniest ones that
this is
they ever made.
I really feel there's something dodgy going on in the background with Special Force. For many years, this the leader of the enemies, because this is the boss, and when obviously he's fairly promiscuous in his dress sense, but he's appeared. Every Special Force vehicle I've ever seen has had this guy in the box.
Yeah. I was shocked when I saw the picture because I was telling Darren, I have this. I found one at Joe Fest in like 2021, and it was actually pretty inexpensive, but I was just blown away by how bizarre the figure was with him.
Yeah, and this story, the Special Force story gets weirder and weirder the more you look at it. But when they came, I found some packaged examples, and there was 2 figures in each packet, but they were just the bad guys. So the 6th demon enemy, as it were, it's almost like they've contacted the company and they've gone, well, we can give you these figures. And that was only the 6 bad guys, but none of the goodies. So when people say to me, what weapons should I put in their hands for display purposes? Ironically, this picture here on the back of this box is the only picture that a factory company has ever put out of this nature. So, but the back of this box gets weirder still in the sense that, like the green guy in the middle next to our promiscuous friend, in every other toy line, he doesn't have a mustache. And in this one, he does, which is odd because you can't even get him. So I forget none of these guys are available as far as I can work out. And I've been studying this stuff for years.
And
so I've never seen
just to pad the back of the box, just to make it look
correct.
Legit. Yeah,
correct. And what's even weirder is that on the guy on the bottom right-hand side, he's a Commando Ranger, and he appeared exclusively in the Commando Ranger box. So even though they wouldn't have really, it was just interesting to see him there because it's the only other time I've ever seen that guy. And what's weird is the dude next, on the very bottom right-hand side, the guy in the yellow shirt, the guy just to the left of him, in every other toy line, he's a black guy.
Really?
Yet on this box, I have no idea why, even though because you can't get them, he's white. So I don't know why they've done this. Yeah. But something I've observed over time is like, hang on a minute, because I'm writing. I don't know if I told you guys, but I'm writing a book on these figures,
which is fantastic.
I've been working on it for years, and this is the problem. Just when you think you've got it worked out, you'll find another series and go, all right then. Because even when you think you've finished the page on a particular toy line, so I'll go, right, Special Forces done, and then I'll find something else and go, and I have to go back and redo it all and insert the new data. But yeah, it's a really bizarre toy line, and because the vehicles are, you can find a pretty good example of the vehicles. They seem to be everywhere.
Yeah,
but the figures are not.
I haven't opened mine or assembled it. I was going to do it, but it just wound up getting pushed off, and I never opened them. And one really great detail on what is that guy's name? The S&M guy. They call him something. I forget what it was.
Is he Masher, or is he? I just can't think. What's his name on the command?
Isn't he this guy? He is the killer in this one, I guess.
The killer. That's right. The killer. That's
I think in another one, like he's assassin, right? That's him.
Yeah. That's right. That's his job function. Yes.
Yeah. And then
enemy leader. Yeah.
Enemy leader in one of the other ones. But if you look closely at the figure, it's hilarious is that he is just wearing a collared shirt that they painted flesh color, and then they just painted that mask of the S&M gear on top of it.
So it's the most weird thing ever.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
He could easily not look that bad.
There, you could probably see it. Hold on, I'm going to zoom in. But if you look closely at that picture, you can see
that's BA's body.
Yeah, it's really funny. Oh my God!
What's interesting about Special Force, mate, is the color scheme was very, very similar to the Remco American Defense stuff, and so this is kind of knocking off American Defense. If it was, that's really what they're cashing in on, and so did USA Rangers. And because there was also a knockoff line called American Defense of these guys, so the National Defense Commando Ranger toy line, but they call them American Defense, and so that's where people get very confused when they see these. They say, "Oh, they're American Defense." It's like, well, yeah, but no. So there's a lot of gray area around people's understanding of American Defense. They go, but I had it. It was American Defense. It's like, but not,
you did.
but not Remco.
Yeah. And you can see they did a boat, the buggy, and that guy. I don't have him, but the guy with with those chops, man, that guy kills me with the beret.
Yeah, it's actually interesting, how because they had these 3 vehicles and these 3 accessories packs across pretty much every toy line as well, right? So these 3 vehicles you could get in National Defense, Commando Ranger, etc., right? And the guy with the beret on the right hand side, if you look at the top, I think it's the city something action pack. He's there in a black. Is he wearing black camo, like black suit with grey cams? Like there's a figure on the card back that I've never seen in real life. So when they were shooting their photos for the toy line, there's a whole bunch of figures that appear there that never existed.
Yeah, never.
It's weird. And this USA Rangers were the bane of my bloody existence till just recently. I spent a very, very long time trying to work out if these guys came out on card backs. And obviously we've got our good mate there again. And I've only ever seen these vehicles. I've seen all 3 vehicles in USA Ranger packaging. What's interesting about this is the box is notably larger than the Special Force box, and it doesn't need to be. It just is.
That's just the size box they had, so they just used it or something.
Yeah, but I end up finding them on cardback, so they did release them just like this. Thunder, Peace, and Freedom Troopers is yet another line of exactly the same figures. And Boone's Art have got some for sale. I noticed recently, so they must have found a box somewhere. So they're few and far between and hard to come by. But the plastic on those was really, really good. You can tell that.
Right? Those are good quality.
Yeah, they were a really good example.
Yeah.
It's
like the ones I got from AliExpress are hit and miss. Like this guy, I just took him out of the bag, and his O-ring is about to go.
Oh yeah.
So, and I think you kind of cleared it up. because I said, are they remolding these, or is this new old stock? Like they found
Yeah,
a barrel of parts or something, and they just start assembling them again. Because this
yeah,
guy
that
is
O-ring's 20
real
years
tight.
old.
Yeah, this guy's real tight. All the joints are really nice, and he works great. I've gotten some of them, and I've even gotten ones with, and I wish I had them. Some of them were Lennard also, where the leg is backwards, the foot is actually facing the wrong way, or like the arm is on the wrong side. But these are
Yeah.
all pretty good.
I have one in the packet that has 2 right legs on it. One's just on
Yeah.
backwards. Yeah.
So
And so
and then-
again, and yet another toy line of exactly the same figures. So all those ones so far have the same figures, different packaging, and it's exactly the same. So that's our good buddy Marine Sam, but in a different one. Action Fighters just had job titles as well. There's no names here. Now, this is where it gets interesting because this is when the future is here. Voice box fighters. So you could push it. So Corpo Speciale, and they had 6 different figures and 6 different stuff. So these guys had specific gear, and they switched up the helmets to these hard helmet variants now too. But it's still all the same accessories, but a few different weapons started to creep in. But the classic rifle is still there, and that's exactly the same toy line, just different branding. So there's no this. Yeah, I think it's a shot there.
Sound, and it's like a mushroom cloud or an explosion or something.
Yeah.
3/4 inch doll, 10 moving joints.
Yeah, and there's only 6 in the toy line. I think I think there's a next shot's a pack at the back of the box, and you can see it's exactly the same figures. and there is a third one that came out, which I have, but I couldn't have access to show you. But it's Commandos. And it's called Action and Fun Commandos, and it's 6 figures, very similar to these 6 guys, but not the same. And then Fighting Talk came out with a different voice packs, and they came out in the standard card. And most people have seen the bigger one, which is the next one. There's only 6 figures in this as well, and they had job functions. They had 2 different teams: Tiger Team, Eagle Team, and they had functions. There's only 3 guys on each team. So it's a total sausage sizzle, but they were all quite close, as I understand. But these ones are in that hard plastic that you need scissors to get into. A lot of these survive, whereas the first one you showed there on the smaller card back, they didn't.
Those card backs are real thin.
Yeah, I've only got one, and I've only seen 2. Yeah. So they're not.
Every single figure came with a barrel and
the crate.
And a crate. And a crate.
Yeah.
You always got a barrel, you always got a crate. Those are just great. That accessory.
One of the common questions I often get is about the grey rifles. And grey rifles came out with American Defense accessories pack, but also in a slightly different color grey, Fighting Talk. So that comes up quite often. People go, "What's this from?" Because the grey one stands out, of course, but they know it's A-Team, but they don't know what it is. But that's a question I get asked more often than not.
Shane, good eye, because I saw that on the slide too, and I that demo box, the little plunger and the detonator with the strap there that comes with that. Yeah, that's a real nice accessory. I do remember that one. That one was snagged by my Joes and used. Yeah, that's really cool. That's a great accessory.
Yeah, no. So I've got the gazillion different colors of those things, and and so I think I've got there's black and dark gray and dark blue, and I've got them all up the top here. Actually, they're along the top, but I'm a bit of a partial to a demo box. Desert Shield. That interestingly, they came out and there was nothing on the back of this at all. It was just a blank card on the back. And there's about 18 or so different figures, but they're all the same bodies again, and they've reused the same bodies, of course, a few times over for some of the figures. Very similar head sculpts. In fact, it's the same head sculpts that appeared in the Commando series. And they were all the same. They're all just desert cams. The colors of the accessories are exactly the same. They're red packs and orange crates, and the barrels, etc. it's sort of nice actually in the sense that sometimes you wish there was a bit of uniformity in the uniforms.
Yeah,
this is probably this is one of the only toy lines I've ever seen, apart from Sergeant Rock,
where they look
where
like
there was some consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could actually feel like an army. So I've got a few here behind me on the shelf. You can see them on the bottom row there, and but they're all just the same. But is the commando series heads and these heads were the same, so different colors, but they've obviously come out of the same spot.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions for Darren about the line? Any one of you guys watching collect this, or I think Ian said it'd be fun to try to collect them all. Well, challenge is that's crazy to try to collect them all. Darren, you did a lot of this kind of passively, just in your travels. Every time you saw them, you would pick some up and kind of add them to the collection. Because I mean, that is probably the biggest collection of these I've ever seen in one place.
How it actually came to pass. I was explaining to my son actually that research, in passing, I just said, look, research can be a hobby.
Yeah.
It doesn't, hobbies don't have to cost money. Hobbies, research can be a hobby, and it's free. Just take an interest in something and look into it. And in front of me on the table at the time was an A-Team figurine. And I said, see, and I picked it up and I said, see, someone in the world knows more about these things than anyone else. I'll just find that person and tap their brain. And so I stumbled across really great guys like Julian and Nova Scotia and Sean Clemens and these kinds of people, and Kate Slarin, who just know tons about toys. And little by little, I didn't realize what I was doing, but I was just soaking in the data. And all of a sudden, I start getting tagged by those guys in posts, like identification posts. What's this? I'm like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be the guy who knows this. But there is still a couple of toy lines that have eluded me. I've got there's nothing worse. You find one carded example of one of these toy runs and you've never seen it before, and you're like, oh no, because if I haven't found it now, it's not easy to find. And as I say, as recently as 2 weeks ago, I found a carded example of something that I didn't think existed. And I'm still chasing down a few toy lines that I know the names of, like Planet Warriors, New Commandos, which is a different line again. And because there's not enough commando figures in the series. And so there's actually Commando voice pack, Action and Fun Commandos, New Commandos, Commando Ranger. And so it's like, really, can we just come up with something else?
No, they're knocking off the bodies and the names. Yeah, why think? And a lot of these maybe were even done in very small runs. Someone just wanted a cheap toy back then. Like now you have the internet. So, but back then there were just trade catalogs too. So. Retailers would look these things up and then just say, yeah, sure, you'll sell these to me for a nickel each. I could sell them for $1 and try them. And if they didn't sell, they didn't reorder them. So, or maybe they were only available for a year or whatnot. But it is just an amazing, journey from Galoob to all over the world and beyond, and the fact that in 2026, I clicked something on my computer, and then a week later, these showed up at my house from China. That's wild.
Yeah. They're on Temu. They're on Temu and Alibaba and stuff. But they are new old stock. They're not remaking them. They're just
years ago. I think it was eBay. There was a China seller, and they just had a lot of like new old stock and stuff. But they had Hannibal from the A-Team figures, but like just hundreds of Hannibals. That's all they had. So I got the Hannibal figure. And then I was like, oh, now I need the rest of the A-Team, right? Because my brother had picked up the van at a garage sale. And, I was like, oh, my God, thank you so much, because he got it for a steal. I just found beaters on eBay. As long as they had an intact head, I bought it. And then I just swapped their heads with G.I. Joe bodies.
Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in.
Yeah. It's just funny how some of these factories will just uncover a bunch of boxes of these guys that just never shipped.
I was just saying to you recently, there was someone in the States there recently must have found a box of Desert Shield figures, because I've been looking for Desert Shield figures for years. They're pretty hard to come by. And it was like an antique seller, but not an action figure seller.
Oh, okay.
And she popped them up for like $3 each. And I bought them all.
Yeah, that was like the Leonard Core guys I got, the space guys. They were listed in Facebook Marketplace as cake toppers. And I went and picked them up from some lady,
well, that leads us on to the last of the figures. Is obviously you guys will remember the baggies they would sell $2 for $1 at the cash register, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so those figures and those variants, I've got tons of them in the bags here, only to validate some combinations and things that come with certain stuff, like which rifles were coming out in baggies and which helmets and these kinds of things. And just the random figure that someone can't identify, I go, oh, no, that's a baggie. I've not seen it in any, because there were figures that only came out in baggies. And so some people go crazy trying to work out what toy lines. Like, no, sorry, dude, there is no toy line. It's just, these guys are just these guys are taking the bullet in the play, and they're not the star, but they'll stand perimeter for you.
Yeah,
but there's
someone should make an archive resource like 3D Joe's or yojo.com does for the GI Joes. It's I've also said this for the Leonard the Core figures, because those are another one that you have a bit of a knowledge on too, but tons of repaints, tons of reissues on those. And
it's funny you should say that. I've just finished building. A friend reached out and said, hey, there was a Core page, but it got pulled down or something. And I said, so we've just launched a new Facebook page where I've literally gone through and created an album for every single dude and every variant in the package, so you can see and the timeline and which version. So I've actually only just done that. So that is available. That's
you're
online
working
now.
On the book for our guys.
Yeah, and that's because it's like because I am an art guy, and I'm an author, I'm a writer, and I'm an illustrator, and so I should add my job. I'm a full-time artist, so I was a former military guy, did that for 20 years, and then about when I was 37, it's funny, you do 20 years in the military, by the time you're 37, you go, and what now, Dad? And so I then I've sort of just spent the last period of time doing art stuff. And so putting this book together is just another way. So I'll put it together and I'll sell it because that's what I do. But I won't release it until it's finished. And the way these things are going, it won't ever be finished. So but in the meantime, I'm certainly happy to field questions. I help people on a daily basis.
Some page in the back of the book for maybe blank spaces to add.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Just stick in the next. No, look. Seriously, anyone who's watching, or if you know someone who's got these, you want to ask me questions, just flip me a message. I'm more than happy to help. It's no problem.
Yeah, and you're mostly on Facebook, right? And
that's the easiest way to reach out to me.
People go, and it's what's the name of the group? It's Commando.
I'm pretty easy to find. Just say, you just ask the question. Who knows about this? And someone will tag me.
You can let me know.
Put the figure in the action figure identification page and go, who's this? And I will get tagged within seconds.
And Scout's got a good question too. What to search for? O-rings, but got nothing but O-rings alone. No, in my experience, Darren also told me about a method he uses that I was all too familiar with, and that is, Darren, I'll let you explain it, because when you were talking about it,
when we're searching eBay?
Yeah,
I will actually go into when I'm just, if I'm, people doom scroll, I doom scroll looking for these figures, right? So I'll just type in action figure, sometimes into Google image search, and I just scroll through,
Yeah.
and I do it in eBay as well. I'll just write action figure in eBay and scroll through looking for toy lots, and then I'll examine the toys in it and go, oh, there's a dude I've not seen.
Yeah.
And so I'll piece together the puzzle, but there's a lot of cool resources. And as you said rightly, people who like this stuff are more than happy to field questions, answer questions, and help each other out. I've actually had a guy in the States who said, who's this? And everyone was giving him bad information. I said, oh, no, that's this dude from this Commando accessory pack, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. And he said, well, you seem to know about it. I'll just send it to you because it's not my jam. And I was like, thanks, man.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Because I was looking for the person who was into these because I was just going to send it to whoever that was. And I was like, oh, yeah, great. Thank you. And I think I sent him a MASH figure as a thank you because he collected those.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I had one that he didn't have. But
you had Commando Rangers and then Commando. This was just the Commando.
Yeah.
Right? We talked about that.
Yeah, and so Commandos came out in, and I've actually seen National Defense figures with these guys in the packets, which was the most bizarre thing. I was like, oh, okay, I thought I had it all worked out, and then, as I said, you get thrown a curve, and you go, okay, I don't even know what to do now. So
and then here was where you were saying just in a bag. Figure in a bag.
And a lot of you would remember these in cake stores as cake toppers. Yeah, because they had them in bakeries.
They definitely tried to get as much mileage out of these as they could.
These are a victory lap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, that's
writing a book. We do have you do have a book. Darren has published a book, Tales of the Elite. Tarantino, right?
Yeah. And I love because I'm obviously I'm ex-military, so I write military sci-fi. And for those of you out there who love sci-fi, I deliberately drew this ship to try and gently hat tip all of my favorite childhood sci-fi. So being Battlestar, Star Wars, but also mostly the anime across Star Blazers and Robotech and those kinds of big glorious
and you
battle
illustrated
cruisers.
the cover for your book?
Yeah.
That's yours? That's wonderful. Yeah, that looks amazing.
Yeah. And then of course now people say to me, how do you feel about AI art? Because AI art could do that now in 10 seconds. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about it.
Well,
I drew that. It took a long time, but Can
you tell us a little something about the book, or did you want to just a little bit about the story?
Look, what I did, you know how sort of Harry Potter's written in a congruent timeline. Well, I'm just going to make sure that my son's just getting ready to go to school because it's very early here. I was going to make sure that he knows that I've made his lunch and it's in the fridge. And sorry.
That's right.
The Harry Potter's sort of written like say year 1 to year 13, and I wrote mine. I write my novels because I'm writing a whole bunch of these in the same series, but they're designed to be all occurring at the same time. So the idea being that everyone thinks their life is the most important thing that's happening right now.
Oh yeah. Hey,
all my books are happening at exactly the same time in different spots. So there's these touch points across the books where if you've read the other books, you'll know, but if you don't know, it doesn't matter. So I love the idea of, when you buy a book and you find out it's like one of 6, I hate that because but all my books are standalone books, but they're deliberately, there's subliminal overlap. So it's an ongoing story if you want it to be, but if you don't know, then it doesn't matter.
And there's a link right there, people. Just put it
in
the chat. And if you're watching this later, you can go to the video description, and there is a link to purchase the book if you're interested. That's, to me, it's just great. I love to support independent creators, people that are creating stuff. That's a dream, and you're living the dream, my friend.
Oh, look, what?
Making your own stuff.
It's pretty fun. I mean, the executive summary of the book is
it's an action book, and the comicality of it comes in the fact, and it's all through the entire series. Because I was in the military, and all the coffee we had on the ships was total rubbish. So the joke that runs through it is that there's no good coffee anywhere.
Mm.
So and so that's kind of like that's the running joke, because of my mates, we would always have whatever the worst brand of instant coffee was. That's what was on our military ships.
Yeah, I can
And
imagine.
so that's kind of there's. Look, I'm a fairly light guy, but the books are fun and they're full of action. It's just, but I will say there's nothing sexual in there, so because I write age appropriate action for my children.
Oh yeah, that's
So
great. Yeah, yeah.
in that sense, there's nothing inappropriate in there. There's not bad language in there.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well, that's like one of the things that sometimes movies shoehorn that stuff in, and I don't know why, and it's like the story would have worked just fine without a romantic lead. Or
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't dive into stuff. If I work on a principle when I was a young sailor. If I couldn't tell my mum about it, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm a bit like that with my writing and my comic books and stuff. Is trying to keep it. I mean, it's actually all about sales as well, to be honest. I was a interpreter in the military, so I speak about 5 languages. And so I sell 99% of my comics in Indonesia. Wow. And of course, if you're selling to a country that doesn't do drugs, that doesn't swear, that doesn't drink alcohol, then so people in my comics will drink things like they'll drink cider. So there's a grey area around it.
Sure.
Versus, I know it's just cider. It's not alcohol. So it's psychological. So so they won't go and grab a beer; they'll just grab a drink. And so I'm very mindful that I'm not excluding any of my target audience.
Oh, sure.
Because at the end of the day, it's just sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I sell 99% of my comics at Comic-Con in Jakarta. So in Java. So that's well, only because I'm taller than everybody. I'm about 6'2", so I'm sure I'm like Hulk Hogan when I go to Indonesia, because they're all very small, and I look like Shrek. So it's hilarious.
That's hilarious. Yeah, it's funny.
It is funny. It is funny.
So that's great, man. Well, thank you for coming on, for sharing your knowledge with us. For anyone who's watching this later on, feel free to type a question in the comments below if you're ever wondering about these guys. Man, I'd love to talk to you again too, and
whenever, man, whenever,
and have you on again, because wow, is there way more than I ever imagined out there when it comes to these types of figures. There's so much more information than I even thought there was. And like the thing with people just saying, "Hey, that looks like Isaac," and then it turns out it is him. That just cracks me up. So guys, and everyone in the chat, thank you so much for your questions. With that, we're gonna go ahead and call it for this week. But if you have, like I said, any questions, feel free to ask them. Reach out. I can get you in touch with Darren if you're looking to identify some figures. He's always happy to help. And
absolutely.
Bob, you do have tonight
into the 7, toy box.
Into
7.
the toy box.
And
what are you guys talking about tonight?
Tonight we're talking about the Wasteland Snowmobile Challenge. We're going to be showing off people's entries for that.
Yeah.
So that should be fun. I've seen a few of them, and they're really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest.
Yeah, and then we also have Die Hard 3.75 at 9:05 p.m. He's a good friend, and time. So your 118 Sundays, continues. So
you get the full lineup this week.
Yeah. So that's a lot of fun. I don't know what we have going on next week, but be sure to tune in because it should be fun. With that, I'll see you guys later. Darren, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about, or
No, mate, thank you for having me on. If you want me on again, the convenient part about being 5 a.m. here when you start is I'm generally available
That's great. That's great because not only is it tomorrow for him, it's 5 a.m. So
Yeah.
we'll let you start your day, and
All right,
we
mate.
thank you for getting up early for.
No, it's all good fun. Thank you. So thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I'll
thank
see you
for
guys
showing
next
us the
week.
collection.
Have
Yeah.
a good one.
Thanks, mate.